Hello, welcome to this update for the tropics. So let's see what's happening in the Atlantic and in the Pacific. So we have these areas in the Atlantic. This one is at 0%. So that low pressure in the subtropical Atlantic, the showers and storms have diminished there, and there's increasing wind shear. So that won't turn into anything crazy. There's this one, the main guy, disorganized showers and thunderstorms located over the northwestern Caribbean Sea and parts of Central America associated with a broad area of low pressure. Environmental conditions appear favorable for the development of the system. Tropical depression or tropical storm could form during the next few days while moving northward across the northwestern Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico. Regardless of development, this disturbance is expected to produce very heavy rain parts of Central America during the next several days. Interest in the northwestern Caribbean, Yucatán and western Cuba should closely monitor the progress of the system. Later this week, the system is forecast to move generally into the Gulf of Mexico. Interest along the northeastern Gulf Coast should monitor the progress of the system. So please be careful there. Now it's at 80% and 40% already there, so be aware. There's this third system at 50% already, so a tropical wave near the west coast of Africa is expected to move westward during the next several days. Environmental conditions could support some gradual development of the system, and a tropical depression could form during the middle to latter part of the week, while the wave moves westward across the eastern central tropical Atlantic, so 50% next 7 days. So be aware. Let's see, the Eastern Pacific, there's these two areas, one already high and another moderate chance of development. So let's see, this one could be the tropical storm to hit Mexico. So this is a big threat for there. Showers and thunderstorms continue to become better organized association with an area of low pressure located less than 200 miles south of the coast of southern Mexico. Environmental conditions appear conducive for additional development, and a tropical depression or storm is likely to form during the next day or two, where the system drifts northeastward or northward towards the coast of southern Mexico. Interesting in southern Mexico should monitor the progress of the system. Watches and warnings could be required later today or tonight. Regardless of development, these systems expect to produce very heavy rains and flooding in portions of southern Mexico this week. So please be careful there. There's a second system that could affect western Mexico as well, but not as much. A tropical low pressure located 700 miles west-southwest of southwestern Mexico produces disorganized showers and thunderstorms. Environmental conditions appear conducive for some slow development of the system, and tropical depression could form during the middle part of the week, while the system generally moves slowly eastward and northeastward. So please be aware there, especially with the system in southern Mexico. And the Central Pacific, there's this system with high chance of development, so 70%. Let's see, an area of low pressure located far southeast of Hawaii continues to produce disorganized showers and thunderstorms, while conditions aloft continue to produce outflow in all regions. Environmental conditions appear conducive for some development the next few days, and tropical depression could form as it moves westward 5 to 10 miles per hour. By midweek, conditions will become gradually less conducive for development, so 60 and 70%. This could briefly become something there. And on the Western Pacific, we have still Tropical Depression 17, bringing some very heavy rains to China and some heavy rains in other areas too. So we'll check the heavy rains at the end there. So let's discuss the latest this system in the Atlantic. So we have the GFS. It shows now suddenly developing just north of Honduras, affecting the Cayman Islands, western Cuba, and passing right between Cuba and the Yucatán, and then it goes into the Gulf. This is too strong, I think like a 935 hurricane. So this is, don't mind this is like fiction. It's too strong. So the GFS does this, and then it goes there and like that. So this is the latest GFS. Let's see. It also forms the tropical storm in the Pacific. There goes into southern Mexico and kind of Guatemala as well, and forms another one just off the coast by Thursday. And this one could hit as soon as Wednesday, Mexico there. So please be careful. And it spins up the systems near Africa and goes out into the Atlantic, and even spins up another one later and does some crazy things. So we will keep an eye on this. So let's see. There's the latest Canadian. It shows the tropical storm spinning up near Mexico, goes into southern Mexico with very heavy rains, and then it starts to spin up the one in the northwestern Caribbean, and slowly goes into the Gulf, like between Cuba and the Yucatan. And let's see. Then it goes there as like a tropical storm by Wednesday into the Gulf. Then gradually goes towards Florida, kind of disorganized into some other areas. So be careful there. And the system, the East Atlantic, does show a weak signal, but nothing crazy. Might form a storm later there by October 2nd. So we'll continue checking there. There's the icon. It forms the storm on the Pacific there, like gradually, and goes towards southern Mexico as maybe a hurricane. So the icon's kind of exaggerating, but you never know. And it forms the second storm on the Pacific, and it goes towards Mexico again. So Mexico is under the gun. Should really be careful there. Then it forms the system the northwestern Caribbean, goes towards the Gulf, and makes landfall in Florida as a weak hurricane and goes north there. So really gotta monitor that too. Let's see. There's the Neptune. It tries to form the storm on the Pacific there, goes towards Mexico, then starts forming the one in the Gulf there. And let's see. So be aware. There's also, let's see if I showed you the European, the 0Z. So it kind of forms the storm in the Pacific, but it goes towards like central southern Mexico, not like southern Mexico as everything is indicating. So the European and the icon of the Neptune are taking this towards like central southern Mexico, not like close to Guatemala like the other models are showing. So that's weird, but we never know. But all along the Mexico coast should really be careful. Then there's this system going up there on the Western Caribbean. The European turns this into a tropical storm and goes towards Florida there, but kind of a big line, like disorganized. So, but there will be some dangerous tropical storm conditions there, and then so be careful. Then it has the stuff near Africa trying to turn into something there and dying, but not really turn into anything. And let's see. There's this other model here. It like starts to show some low pressures in the Caribbean, the Pacific, but you can't really see well here. So let's see. There's the dry air, still some dry air in the Gulf, but you see all that moisture on the Caribbean, the Pacific, as it keeps building up there. Then the system forms into the Gulf there. It's still like there's some dry air to the west, but it's generally protected there. Then it goes and some dry air starts coming on the backside as it makes landfall there, then dissipates. So we'll keep monitoring that. And let's see here. So the ensemble from the European have a lot of support too. So there's a lot of support now. Shows like something pretty clearly coming up between the Yucatan and Cuba, and then going up into like the Panhandle in Florida or maybe Alabama too. But even if this hits Florida, it will affect Georgia, most of the southeast with rainfall. So be aware. The system in Mexico there. Then it has support for the central Atlantic as well, but generally curving north into the Atlantic, so nothing crazy for the islands. But gotta watch for some weak disturbances. And there's the GFS. It has a lot of support there too, but most of the GFS members have like hurricanes there, like category 1, 2, 3, 4 there into Florida, but some members have like tropical storm and category 1, like weak hurricane. So this will most likely be just a tropical storm as it makes landfall there, but we never know. And then it has the system on the Pacific and more support for the Atlantic as well. So please be aware there. Like keep a close eye at this. Nothing to freak out about yet, but it's definitely forming very quickly. So I would almost make some preparations. So, but in Mexico, you should already have preparations for those systems there. So be careful. And let's see, the tropical storm probabilities, the European, shows like, alright, by the 25th, some 10% there, and then it goes to like a 50% by the 26th tropical storm, and it goes to like a 70% tropical storm probabilities there, and even to a 90% in that small purple there as it goes into Florida. So this is a very high probability of tropical cyclone activity. So like not the formation, but like tropical cyclone activity probability. So the chance of a tropical storm like more than 90% right there. So that's a very high signal. There's the storm in the Pacific too, like a 70% as well. So on the 26th is that a 100% in the 25th as well, but and then it gradually goes into Mexico. So be aware. There's some weak signals for the system in the Atlantic, but still nothing very clear. The tropical depression probability is like not tropical storm, like tropical depression, shows already 100% for the Caribbean and for Mexico. So that 100% continues there. It keeps going through the Yucatán and Cuba, then turns into a tropical storm and goes towards Florida there. So please be careful. And then it has like a 90% chance of a tropical depression on the eastern Atlantic there as well as it goes north. So please be careful in those areas. And the tropical storm strike probabilities from tomorrow to the 30th, like for this next week, it already has like a 30% tropical storm strike probabilities there in the Gulf. In Mexico, it has some too, and around Japan and some other areas there. So we will keep watching this, and let's see. So the main threat with this will still be the heavy rainfall there. So this is forming around Mexico there. So only the next 1 day and 21 hours, the European array has like 200 millimeters in Mexico near Acapulco and some areas. In the next 5 days, it has like 700 millimeters, 800 millimeters in Acapulco, 400 millimeters. So this is insane. It would cause some catastrophic flooding there. But this is just one model run, and this will definitely change. So, but just be aware, there might be some very considerable, dangerous amounts of rainfall there. Let's see, there's the GFS. The GFS is further south, but it does have like 100 millimeters in Acapulco, and it has like 600, 700 millimeters around Puerto Escondido and Huatucolco there. So please be aware, like in this whole section of the coast, there'll be very danger from the rain. Then it also has into Guatemala and southern Mexico like 300 millimeters. So this would already cause some very dangerous flooding. So please stay safe there. I don't know how else to say this. Have a place to stay safe from flooding, and do what you can to stay safe. The icon is actually mild today. It shows like in Acapulco some 400 millimeters, like 300 millimeters, 400 millimeters in other areas, and has between Guatemala and Mexico, like especially Mexico, like 400 millimeters too. So because there'll be like one storm there and another there, so probably that. So please be careful. The whole Mexican coast, all the way from like just north of Acapulco, all the way into Guatemala, should be on alert for very, very heavy, dangerous rainfall. So please stay safe there. And let's see, the rest of Central America, the European shows in Guatemala next 5 days like 200 millimeters, shows more in Costa Rica like 100 millimeters, but Nicaragua more. So this is Nicaragua actually, sorry. Nicaragua like 200 millimeters, Honduras 100 in some areas, and El Salvador a little bit less, but shows more as well. And shows there in the Yucatán some more storms, and yeah, and then they're like in the Cayman Islands 135 millimeters, in Jamaica close to 84 millimeters. So there'll be some heavier downpours from time to time in Jamaica, and some very heavy rain in the Cayman Islands as this thing passes through western Cuba. It might pass just west of you or right over you, so like 100, almost 200 millimeters. So please be careful in Cuba with some very heavy rain on the west there. And then as it goes there into the US, let's take this further. It has like some more in Florida, like 168 millimeters, and 200 millimeters there on the panhandle. But let's see the GFS. The GFS more like a clear path into the panhandle with a lot there, and the icon has like also going to the panhandle there, so please be careful. Let's see here. For now, this will be like some 8 inches or more there around Florida, especially the panhandle, and this will change. We'll keep monitoring this, so please be careful there, especially in Mexico. This will be a very life-threatening system. So I want everyone to understand this, to super stay safe. So let me say this in Spanish. Olá, ¿qué tal? Entonces va a haber esta posiblemente tormenta tropical en México, que es una probabilidad alta de formación ya, a tormenta tropical. Y hay unos modelos meteorológicos que muestran más de 500 milímetros de lluvia a puntos de México, 600 milímetros, a ver más así como 657, 500 milímetros, entonces sería mucha lluvia estas partes del oeste de México, en el Pacífico. Entonces puede causar muchas inundaciones esto, y va a ser un evento muy peligroso. Muchísimas precauciones. Avisar cualquier persona que conoces ahí que va a pasar esto, puede ser muy peligroso. Y hay un otro sistema al sur de México y Guatemala que muestra más de 300 milímetros también hasta el viernes. Entonces, esto va a ser peor como el miércoles, así. Entre el miércoles y el viernes va a ser peor, pero ya está formando. Hay un otro modelo meteorológico que muestra más de 700 milímetros en Acapulco, como 800 milímetros en partes del Pacífico, 600 milímetros, 700 milímetros. Entonces, tal vez esté exagerando un poco, pero nunca sabes, puede pasar esto. Entonces, muchísimas precauciones. Si esto pasa, que creo que es un poco difícil caer tanta lluvia, pero si esto pasa, puede haber unas inundaciones catastróficas en estas zonas. Precauciones. Y hay este otro modelo numérico que muestra como 400 milímetros en Acapulco y sur de México como 400 milímetros también. Entonces va a ser muy peligroso esto, precauciones. En Guatemala, más tormentas en el Pacífico, sí, y otras más lluvia en otras zonas. Honduras y Nicaragua, más lluvia fuerte al norte y el Pacífico de Nicaragua, el oeste, y más en sur de Honduras, más tormentas en otras zonas, y en El Salvador un poco más también. Muchísimas precauciones, más tormentas en Costa Rica, y es esto, norte de México, un poco de lluvia, algunas tormentas de tarde, pero nada tan extremo. Entonces, muchísimas precauciones con esto. Good. So please stay safe there. And let's see, in the Cabo Verde, the Europeans also showing like 90 millimeters the next 5 days, 60, 30 millimeters. So maybe some storms there too from the system. Be aware. And this is mainly it. So stay safe there. Let's see if I can find a different model for the precipitation to have an idea. So here, for example, let's see if the UK model, it only shows the US, but let's jump to the full hours. Yeah, it shows the system coming up towards like Florida there, the Panhandle is a tropical storm, kind of those areas there. So be aware. There's the Canadian rainfall as well. Let's see if it has the Caribbean. So let's see, this is until Sunday. So the Canadian model has like more than 400 millimeters throughout southern Mexico as well. So this will cause some tremendous flooding, so please be careful. More throughout southern Mexico, some in northern Nicaragua and Honduras and Cuba there. So please be aware. Stay safe, especially in Mexico there. So let me just say something again. Entonces, este sistema tropical que va a Florida puede traer lluvias fuertes y tormentas a Cuba y las islas Cayman y Jamaica, entonces principalmente el oeste de Cuba. Muchísimas precauciones. Okay, good. So, let's see if there's anything else here. For example, the Canadian ensembles. Let's see. So, it shows here like the system trying to get going there on the Pacific, going towards southern Mexico, and the second one potentially there. Then it has the system passing Cuba and going towards like the Panhandle there in Florida. So this is basically the Canadian ensembles. It shows some probabilities in Africa there, the systems coming off of Africa. It shows especially more probabilities later after September 30th, like even shows a thing or two in the Caribbean. So we might need to watch after September 30th, but there's still a lot of time to watch. So be aware, and let's see something here. So wait, because this is to see some wind shear and some like vorticity. So let's see. So the wind shear now, there's still like that trough there, some higher wind shear in the US and the Caribbean, but where the gyre is at, there's still some higher wind shear in the Central Caribbean, but there in Central America, the wind shear is low now. But this will change. I'll show you the forecast. There's the vortex. The vortex here shows like some signatures that those non-tropical systems there, but they will die out. It shows already the vortex building there in the Caribbean with that new system. So be aware there. Let's see. There's this like this interesting probabilities here, something forming up like 92%, 69% as it gets to the Gulf and the Caribbean, on the Pacific there too, and some more stuff there. So be aware, there's the system in the Central Pacific, it has some probabilities as well. And I think this hasn't been updated yet. They will update this Tuesday, so we will show you the update by like Tuesday. So let's see here if there's something else, but this mainly it. So please stay safe in Mexico, be mindful there in Florida and other areas as this system comes, and we'll monitor for more stuff later. But please stay safe with the rainfall and everything. So let's just see the next 5 days. The rest of the Caribbean, so like 35 millimeters in Barbados, 25 millimeters. Some more showers and storms throughout the Caribbean there, like 27 millimeters, 18 millimeters. So be aware there. Some showers and showers in the Bahamas, maybe a storm or two. And let's see, the GFS has some showers there as well. And the icon has a little bit more storms there near the Caribbean the next 5 days. So be aware. So the European has some bands of showers, some storms from time to time, especially like Monday, but later shows more showers and storms on Tuesdays, some things passing by, so nothing crazy. Just be aware from time to time there, Puerto Rico and some other areas. So stay safe there. And let's see now, we have some invests near the Mariana Islands in the Western Pacific, and like some that tropical depression in China. So there's still huge amounts of rainfall there in China, and an invest near Hainan there to watch. So the GFS model has like that system there from China, might crossing through the southern islands of Japan, leave a lot of heavy rain there. And then it has like this another system coming south and developing, like passing Taiwan into the South China Sea, going towards Vietnam again. But the GFS is kind of crazy sometimes, and this might happen or not. And there's some more moisture near Guam, but I don't think you'll form into anything substantial. So let's see. There's the European. It shows like, let's see, this is the 0Z. Wait, it isn't working well. Here, so this the 60, it shows there some low pressures near Guam, some more rain there, and the system passing through the southern islands of Japan and kind of meandering near Japan there. So yeah, let's see if the 0Z works. So it shows the systems meandering near China, still some heavy rain there, the system passing by Japan, and maybe some more stuff trying to form later. So we'll keep monitoring this. There's the Canadian. It has like the system passing by the southern islands of Japan, meandering there, a bigger system going north into the Pacific, some low pressures near Guam, and basically that same situation, some more storms more storm systems through China, Mongolia, and Russia, and some more tropical showers there. So be aware. There's the icon too, shows a lot of rain there still through Japan, China, and not areas, and maybe some low pressure spinning up there, maybe just north of the Philippines by the 29th. So we'll watch that, and let's see here. So in terms of rainfall, we have in the next 12 hours, it shows the system more in China, curving to Japan. So only the next 12 hours shows 76 millimeters in Japan there. In the next one day, shows some islands of Japan close to 100 millimeters. Next, like 1 day and a half, shows already a lot in China there. In the next 1 day and a half, like 2 days, show like 129 millimeters for eastern China. And in the next 5 days, already shows more for China there, like 100, 200 millimeters throughout eastern China. So still some heavy rain there. And the systems pass just east of Japan, but will affect those Izu Islands there, those islands just south of Japan. So be aware in those islands, some heavy rain, gusty winds there. Some more tropical showers and storms throughout the Philippines, but nothing crazy. And more rain near Guam, close to 67, 42 millimeters. So be aware, some more storms there. Passing shower by Palau, maybe a storm or two. And still show like Laos and Vietnam next 5 days, like 170 millimeters throughout Vietnam, some more storms. And in Thailand there, so be aware, 179 throughout all the areas of Thailand, like 157 in Laos. So be aware, might be some heavier storms. Northeastern India and Bangladesh, like 270 millimeters, so might be very heavy there for northeastern India, so be careful. Might be a flood or two, some heavy rain. And northeastern Bangladesh shows more than 100 millimeters in parts of southern Bangladesh, into Myanmar, especially western Myanmar, so be careful there. And more storms from Myanmar, basically all the colored areas there might be storms, so be aware. Northern Myanmar showing more as well, like 196 millimeters. Be aware, but western India is something else. The European show like 266 millimeters, 300 millimeters, like 512 millimeters. So there might be some big rain through western India, 167 in Mumbai. So please be aware there. Central India, basically some storms throughout the next 5 days in most of central India. Nepal, might be some more rain in Nepal, some more storms. So be careful there. The GFS is like a lot in western India as well, but the GFS more like in Nepal, northeastern India, Bangladesh, right between there, a hotspot, so be careful. Might be some heavy rain there. From Myanmar, Thailand, Laos, Vietnam, all the way into China, eastern China, more than 100 millimeters, and through the southern islands of Japan there. And the GFS is showing a lot in some islands of Indonesia, like Sumatra, some has more than 100 millimeters, but Malaysia, like 94 millimeters, so be aware of those areas. There's the excess. The excess is only showing the south here, but it does show a lot in India there, like some more in Indonesia, especially Malaysia there in some areas, Borneo, so be aware. There's the icon too, it shows like, let's see, a lot in western India, so please be careful there. And it's showing like very big amounts with northeastern India and Nepal, southeastern Nepal, so please be careful there. Through Myanmar, like Laos and Vietnam, some more storms, so please be careful. Let's see, shows the storms here, the system in Japan, the storms in eastern China, continuing Thailand, Laos there and Vietnam, some more storms there through Laos and Vietnam. Then the storms in India, more storms through western India, northeastern India, those periods of heavy rain in southeastern Nepal, northeastern India, through western India continuing, other areas of Nepal, so please watch out there. And later next week into China and Mongolia, some more stuff, so be careful. And it shows some more accumulation in Russia, some more snow, maybe some more accumulation in Mongolia, so yeah, be aware. Snowfall shows like in Tibet there, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, and into Russia there, so be aware as well. And this mainly also in the Himalayas, because of the system in Nepal showing some big snow in the southern Himalayas, so be aware. And this mainly it. Let's just see maybe a model or two for like let's see, the Central Pacific, there's that system there just south of Hawaii. The European kind of shows it forming, but that doesn't really have anything forming there. The GFS is that low pressure there. Uh, it might form into something there. Wait, let's put precipitation, I can see better. So it does show something forming very quickly there and then dissipating. So this might be like a quick system. So please be careful in those areas, stay safe and warn others.